Hi, gang. Hope you're doing well and you got through the first assignment okay. That wasn't too bad, was it? Adding, subtracting, equality of matrices, etc. This next part's going to be a little more difficult, okay? Isn't that usually how our math chapters go? We tease you that it's going to be, understandably okay, and then we, and then it gets harder and harder. But that's all right. You guys are up for it. Listen, this next part is multiplying matrices, and I know it's hit hard on the final, okay? And it's not just hit hard in being able to multiply matrices, it's hit hard in understanding what the product matrix means in a real life application. Okay, so I'm going to start with one. And then, guys, listen, you probably already have figured out that you can do this on your calculator. I already showed you that in 6-1, remember? So obviously you can add, subtract, you can do this on your calculator. And yes, you can have your calculator for the final, just like you've had it for every other test. However, the calculator is not going to help you if you can't set up the multiplication matrix, the multiplication of two matrices to get the right product. If you don't know how to set everything up, you won't even know what to put in your calculator. Okay, so please give yourself the opportunity to watch this video and try to understand this. It's not that difficult. It's one of those things that's once you get it, it's like, oh, that's not that bad. But getting it is a little bit rocky. Okay. All right. So here we have a chart. The number of economy, midsize, and large cars rented by individuals, corporations at a rental company in a single day. All right, so, it has the headings here, but basically you can kind of see that this could be written as a 2x3 matrix, right? Then in this other chart, we have the number of bonus points and free miles given in a promotional program for each of the three car types. Okay, and notice what's that? That's a 3x2. So this is a 2x3, and this is a 3x2. What if somebody wanted to know, for whatever reason, how many free miles were given in this promotional program to individuals? How many free miles were given total, okay, from individuals? All right, so look at this. There were 3 individuals who rented an economy-sized car. And 50 free miles are given, right, for each economy. That's per car, okay? So we're going to have to take 3 times 50, right? There were 50 free miles given per economy car, and there were 3 economy cars rented out to individuals. All right. Midsize. We had 2 of them, and 100 free miles are given to each car. So I'm going to add to that 2 times 100. Does that make sense? Okay, and then we have 6 large cars were rented out by individuals, and for each large car, 150 free miles were given. So I also have to add to this 6 times 150. Okay, do you see that? That will be the answer to the question, the total number of free miles given to individuals. Okay, so then that would just be quick little arithmetic there. Okay, to figure that out, 3 times 50 plus 2 times 100 plus 6 times 150. We could say, well, there were 1,250 free miles given to individuals. Okay, notice what we did here, okay? We took this row times this column, right? 3 times 50 plus 2 times 100 plus 6 times 150. We took this row times this column, and we got one answer. Okay? That's how we multiply matrices. And it's probably the most applicable skill that you can have from this whole unit, is being able to multiply two matrices together and understand what the resulting matrix means. All right, let's go. To multiply these then, okay, this is, I'll show you all the definitions then, but I just wanted to show it as a real life problem first. To multiply these, we can multiply them, and you're probably thinking maybe we can't because they are different dimensions, and we know that we can't add or subtract matrices together unless they're the same dimensions, right? But these are, what did we say this was? A 2 by 3? And this is a 3 by 2? All right, guys, this is what's different. Okay, so the only time you can multiply matrices is if the columns of the first matrix match the rows of the second matrix. Because of what I was showing you, how we take row by column, that's what has to match up, okay? And then the answer to what kind of matrix are we going to end up with? What are the dimensions of the product matrix? It's these many rows and these many columns, okay? So this is going to result in a 2 by 2. All right, I check to see if these middle numbers equal each other, and they do. 3 equals 3. So now I know I can multiply these together. And then I'm like, well, what is it going to end up with? It's going to end up this many rows and this many columns. Okay, so it's going to end up to be a 2 by 2. Okay. All right. Now this is where, remember in the beginning of 6.1, we were talking about how each element has a specified row column. Like this element would be A11, this element would be A12, this element would be A21, and this element would be A22 in a 2 by 2 matrix. Okay, that helps me when I'm doing a product, because I kind of look at this and say, okay, so I want to get this element, I have to multiply the first row by the first column. Okay, so I'm going to circle that in red here. Okay, first row, first column. And we do just like we did on the previous slide. I'm going to take 3 times 20. Okay, so what's that? 60 plus 2 times 30 plus 6 times 40. Okay, you see it? 3 times 20 plus 2 times 30 plus 6 times 40. Okay, and then we add that all together. What's that, 360? Okay, that's my first row, first column element. 360. Done. Let's move to the first row, second column. For the first row, second column, I'm going to want to take the first row times the second column. Isn't that what we did on the previous page? I think so, that we don't have to repeat ourselves. Okay, first row, second column, we got 1250, right? When we took 3 times 50, we took 3 times 50, 150 plus 200 plus 6 times 150, and we got 1250. All right, I think I'm done with the first row then. And let's move to the second row. I'm going to circle that in purple. Second row, first column. Okay, and that's going to go in the second row, first column spot. Okay, so, oh, great. I circled over the number. I can't even see it. Okay, 5. So now I'm going to take 5 times 20 plus 2 times 30 plus 4 times 40. So that's going to be 320. Okay, see how we get that? Now to get the second row, second column, well, if I want the second row, second column, then I'm going to have to multiply the second row of my first matrix by my second column of my second matrix. I'm going to take 5 times 50, 2 times 100, 4 times 150. Okay, you see that? And add that all together. All right, did you get 1050? That's supposed to be a 10. Blech. Okay, so we took a 2 by 3 times a 3 by 2, and we got a 2 by 2. What they're going to ask you in the final is questions like, what does the, let's say, second row, first column element represent? And that's where you're going to have to understand where you got that, okay? Even if we do it in a calculator, we have to understand where the number came from. So second row, look at the second row, corporations, first column, bonus points. Do you see what I mean? That's where the meat comes from, or the application comes from, okay? So you would have to say, well, it's how many bonus points were awarded to corporations. Okay, if they say, what does the second row, second column represent? Well, then I'd go, okay, second row was corporations, second column was free miles. I'd say, well, that means there were 1050 total free miles given to corporations. Okay, that's what that means. Can you put this in a calculator? Absolutely. Okay, you would enter matrix A as a 2 by 3 and enter these numbers. Here, let's do it. Okay, go ahead and on your calculators, I'm going to pause myself so I can put it on my calculator and not waste video time. Pause me, enter this as matrix A, enter this as matrix B. All right, let's all put that in our calculators and then come back together. All right. Okay, hopefully you have those entered in your calculator. If you need help in how to enter those, come to my office hour. I explained it, last time, so I'm hoping that you got them entered. Okay, so now I'm going to take my matrix, hit second matrix. Notice I had A is a 2 by 3, B is a 3 by 2. Those are the two matrices that I entered. I'm going to take matrix A, so I'm just going to hit enter. Okay, then you see that matrix A is right there, times. And I hit second matrix, and I scroll down to B, okay? A times B, all right? And then I hit enter. And there it is. I think that's the same matrix we got if we did our arithmetic right. 360, 1250, 320, and 1050. We got that 2 by 2, okay? So I understand that you will probably now multiply all matrices using your calculator. And obviously you can add, subtract, you can do all those things on your calculator. And I encourage you to do that, okay? But again, that's not going to help you answer that second part of the question, is it? Unless you understand what each of these represent and how you got there. Okay, that's why I wanted you to go through the learning of how it works, okay? Instead of just showing you on the calculator. I know you like that. Don't roll your eyes. I see you. I'm like the freaking elf on the shelf. I can see you rolling your eyes. I feel it the whole way through the computer. Seriously, it's good for you guys. Okay, please understand it. Don't just do it on the calculator. You got to understand the math behind it. You really do. College algebra. Come on. I know how smart you are. All right, so matrix multiplication. Now I'm going to show you the definition now that we've been the whole way through it. Okay, if you want to write it down, those of you that like the formal mathematical definitions, which is good to see, the product of an M by N matrix and an N by P matrix. Do you see how the N's equal each other? And then the answer is an M by P. See where that came from? M and P. All right, and you get the answers by multiplying and adding the corresponding parts. Notice how they say the ith row and the jth column. We talked about that earlier too. Let's try these, all right? As you can see, we're ticking out of time, so try those, and I'll show you the answers on the next video, All right, see you guys.